He was known as the most beautiful death row inmate. Not only had he studied at Peking University, but he was also once part of the Under 10 Spaces group. However, nobody expected that he would stab his boyfriend 18 times, and afterwards, attempt to flee to Canada by plane. This was the regrettable story of Yang Yang. On June 28, 2001, a murder case suddenly occurred in a high-end residential area in Beijing, where a middle-aged man was found dead at home. The deceased was identified as Gu Jianming, the general manager of a real estate company. The forensic examination suggested that he died around 4 a.m. due to excessive blood loss from arterial cuts, with 18 stab wounds found on his body. Surveillance footage quickly led the police to a suspect, Gu Jianming's girlfriend, Yang Yang, a 25-year-old from Harbin, Heilongjiang. Previously part of the Under 10 Spaces, she was currently unemployed. The investigation revealed that Yang Yang had studied in Switzerland, and her passport and visa were still valid, suggesting she might flee abroad. The police immediately issued a notice to all major border ports to prevent her escape. However, as days passed without any news of Yang Yang, the police grew increasingly disheartened. 3 months later, the Canadian Embassy Visa Office sent important information to the police. The suspect Yang Yang had appeared. The police quickly arrested Yang Yang at the embassy as she prepared to flee. After her arrest, Yang Yang confessed to her crimes. What exactly happened between her and the deceased Gu Jianming that day? And why did she brutally attack her own boyfriend? The story begins in 1997. After years of hard work, the victim Gu Jianming was successful in his career, becoming what we would call a tall, rich, and handsome man. During a flight, he met the flight attendant Yang Yang, young and beautiful. With a tall figure, she immediately caught Gu Jianming's attention. He kept asking for drinks just to have an opportunity to talk to her. On the flight, Gu Jianming even asked for her contact information. At the time, he was wearing a blue jacket, had a flat haircut, big eyes, and was always smiling at me, feeling like a very happy salesman, very sunny, very lively, like a curious salesman. Although Yang Yang had a good first impression of him, being a flight attendant, she was used to passengers hitting on her. Eventually, out of politeness, she gave him a pager number. She thought this would save face for the passenger while keeping the initiative to call back in her hands. Shortly after this encounter, Yang Yang quit her job as a flight attendant to continue her studies at Peking University's School of Continuing Education. However, she did not expect Gu Jianming to keep paging her. Since the pager was left at home, all the messages were seen by Yang Yang's mother. After some communication, Yang's mother gave Gu Jianming her daughter's situation and phone number. Since then, Gu Jianming became a frequent visitor to Peking University, parking his Mercedes at the university entrance, each time thoughtfully bringing Yang Yang a bouquet of different flowers. To prove himself, Gu Jianming also enrolled in English classes at Peking University, starting from the simplest English words. Seeing this man's progress and persistence, Yang Yang was gradually moved and accepted Gu Jianming's pursuit. Later, Gu Jianming rented a house in the Roma Garden residential area, and the two started living together, spending a warm time together. The following autumn, Yang Yang's divorced mother remarried an Australian man. Yang Yang could have followed her mother abroad, but she gave up the idea because she believed Gu Jianming was her Prince Charming, and she wanted to marry and have children with him in China. However, Gu Jianming's behavior became increasingly abnormal. Sometimes, when making phone calls, Gu Jianming would intentionally speak in Minnan dialect. When Yang Yang asked him what he was talking about, Gu Jianming would dodge the question. Moreover, Yang Yang accidentally found a photo of Gu Jianming with a woman and a young boy. Gu Jianming explained that they were his cousin and cousin's son, but the pose and distance between the three suggested otherwise. Soon after, Yang Yang unexpectedly became pregnant and shared the good news with Gu Jianming, only to learn that Gu Jianming had a complete family. The previous photo was indeed their family portrait. It turned out that Gu Jianming had been deceiving her, and Yang Yang had unknowingly been the other woman for 2 years. Gu Jianming tearfully told Yang Yang that he and his wife had no feelings for each other, and he had long wanted to divorce but hesitated because of their child. He promised to divorce soon and start a new family with Yang Yang, who believed his lies and aborted the child. By the spring of 1999, seeing that Gu Jianming had no intention of divorcing, Yang gave him an ultimatum to divorce after the Spring Festival. Although Gu Jianming agreed, he was actually hesitant. His wife was gentle and virtuous, and his son was well-behaved and understanding. Giving them up for Yang Yang was not a wise choice. Yang Yang sensed his reluctance and forced him to take her back to his hometown in Quanzhou. In Quanzhou, Gu Jianming had no choice but to come clean with his parents and wife, proposing divorce. However, they strongly opposed it. After the Spring Festival, to save the marriage, Gu Jianming's parents directly moved to the Roma Garden residential area with their son, all four living together. Gu Jianming's parents aimed to make Yang Yang back down. For this purpose, they even staged a theft incident, accusing Yang Yang of stealing a Rolex watch. Unable to bear these groundless accusations, Yang Yang was worn down both mentally and physically. She decided to shed blood to end the relationship with Gu Jianming. In 2000, with Gu Jianming's support, Yang Yang successfully enrolled in a university in Switzerland for further studies. However, Gu Jianming, unable to change his ways, missed the warmth between him and Yang Yang. He started calling Yang Yang daily. Initially, Yang Yang deliberately ignored the calls, but Gu Jianming persisted, making hundreds of calls a day. As a result, the phone bill amounted to over 20,000 yuan, reigniting Yang Yang's hope. After the first semester, Yang Yang flew back to China. Faced with Yang Yang's questioning, Gu Jianming continued to dodge, not mentioning divorce. Out of desperation, Yang Yang decided to resolve the issue her way. She learned that Gu Jianming's wife was recently applying for a Hong Kong ID card, so she called pretending to be a staff member, lured Gu Jianming's wife out, and made her drink mercury extracted from a thermometer under the guise of a health check. Fortunately, because she received medical attention in time, Gu Jianming's wife was not seriously harmed. Later, after Gu Jianming learned of the incident, they had a big fight, and he considered Yang Yang to be insane. Consequently, he broke up with Yang Yang and quickly found a new girlfriend. However, Yang Yang could not let go of him. On the night of June 27, 2001, Yang Yang went to Gu Jianming's house. While watching TV, Gu Jianming's phone suddenly rang. He took the phone into the bathroom to answer the call, and Yang Yang eavesdropped from outside the door. She heard Gu Jianming calling another woman baby, which infuriated her. In the middle of the night, after Gu Jianming fell asleep, Yang Yang took his phone, wanting to know who the shameless new love interest was. Her actions woke Gu Jianming, who became furious upon seeing his phone being snooped on. He started beating Yang Yang, whom he once deeply loved, and even threatened to kill her with a knife. Fearing for her life, Yang Yang threw everything around her at Gu Jianming, and in the chaos, the knife ended up in her hands. Gu Jianming tried to take back the knife but was stabbed multiple times by Yang Yang, dying from excessive blood loss on the spot. Afterward, Yang Yang hastily fled the scene. On September 9, 2002, the Beijing Intermediate People's Court announced the first instance judgment, sentencing Yang Yang to death for intentional homicide. On August 8, 2003, the second instance court considered Yang Yang's deception and changed the sentence to death with a 2-year reprieve, later commuted to life imprisonment. In 2007, due to good behavior, Yang Yang's sentence was reduced to 16 years in prison. End of story.